What's up, Sustainable Jiu-Jitsu? We're here, Team Herrera Australia in the Los Angeles. We're in the car heading to San Luis Obispo, California for a seminar. Master Joe and the team are in a bus behind us. Professor Mike in the back. And we're here with Professor Louie Cercedez, champion. And look at his shirt. What a magnificent
representing
shirt he
my
has.
family down under.
So we thought we'd do this interview in the car because Louie's a busy man and he's got to head off after this seminar. And look, obviously we'll keep it to short-ish because we could speak for hours. And this man's got a lot of knowledge on martial arts and jiu-jitsu. So I thought we'll take some time, have a chat to him and ask Louie how he actually started jiu-jitsu and how did you start your journey? How did you start your journey in martial arts, Louie?
You know, my dad started me out. He's a black belt with Benny Cercedez. And he
Benny
started
the
me
Jet?
out. Yeah, Benny the Jet. He's one of the first people to ever get a black belt from the Cercedez family. And brought me in early. I was 2 years old at the most, you know, and started training in martial arts. I started taking official classes around age 6, and ironically at the same time we had a visitor. And a gentleman came in and he did a demonstration with Benny the Jet, and I watched it and it affected me my entire life.
This is a jiu-jitsu demonstration?
This person turned out to be Orion Gracie.
Ah.
I didn't know at the time. I was you know, young, very you know, only 6, and I saw things that amazed me. And I heard him say, "We have techniques," and I'll never forget this. If you're on your back in the sand with a guy on top of you, you can still win. And that blew my mind. Of course, I was still young, but I had no idea, no concept of how that could even work. And I watched him handle Benny like he was a child. It was crazy, the amount of dominance that he had. It was so much so that it was even scary. And I remember thinking that he was from the Middle East because he was very dark and he had longer hair and this big mustache. And it was very interesting to me. And that one session stood with me for forever. So it came and gone. I stood in martial arts. I was still training with the Cercedez family and my dad and everybody. And I grew up doing kickboxing and boxing and the Thai boxing at the Jet Center and all of the other dojos that they had prior to that. And then I joined the Navy in '91, and I got a chance to meet a gentleman by the name of Don Parch early on, '92, '93, and he introduced me to Roy Harris. And Roy Harris came in and he did a demonstration, and I was blown away again, and I said, "Oh my God, I have seen it. Now I know. This is it. This is jiu-jitsu. Wow." And I was instantly hooked. And I followed up and trained with Roy. I had a chance to do some training in the Navy when I was on deployment, and it stood with me, and I've maintained a connection ever since.
Wow. And you spent about 17 years with Roy, didn't you, Roy Harris?
I spent 17 years with Roy. I earned my black belt officially from Roy. And during that time, I would train with Joe periodically. I would see him. He would come down for seminars. I'd visit him at his school once every great while. And then, I don't know, probably 10 or so years ago, I've just continued to train just with Joe because of Roy's availability and you know, whatnot. So Joe's a little bit closer than for me driving back down to San Diego, which was tough. And then my work was pretty consuming. So that's what brought me to this point.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. I mean, 2 amazing human beings, Joe Moreira and Roy Harris.
It's like they had a kid.
Oh, yeah. and there's so much knowledge from those guys, you know. They're amazing. Hey, guys, you know, you can't appreciate how much knowledge Louie has. We've been here since Friday. It's now Sunday. And we've been chatting a lot, super deep knowledge of martial arts, jiu-jitsu, and everything in general. You know, there's just not enough time on this video to cover, but where do you coach out of, Louie?
You know, I teach mostly privately and at seminars, but I used to teach at the Gracie Academy Certified Training Center in Granada Hills quite a bit, but recently, since April, I've been going to the UFC gym in Northridge. It's close to my house. They have a very good training area, and the people there are really friendly, and I can bring people there, so it's really appealing to me. You know, so that's pretty much my new current home is a UFC gym in Northridge.
Awesome. Well, guys, if you ever get a chance to see Louie and train with Louie, or even host Louie, mate, awesome guy and super knowledge. We actually discovered Louie. We came out to a camp, one of my friends and clients, Big Mike, we came out to see Joe Moreira, and Louie was running this camp. It was called the Immersion Camp.
Yes.
In Lake Arrowhead.
Lake Arrowhead,
California, up in the hills, and it was magnificent, and I'm really grateful for Louie for running that, because it's you know, opened some doors for us to meet and train and hang out with these guys, and yeah, I'm just super grateful for everybody here. They're such nice people and such deep knowledge and so welcoming, and like I said, we can really speak for hours on you know, on what it is. But a quick question for your jiu-jitsu, you know, with sports jiu-jitsu so prevalent now, and we spoke about this briefly yesterday, and look, I respect all aspects of jiu-jitsu. We said, you know, the art of jiu-jitsu and the self-defense is very important, and obviously sports is very popular now, but how important is it, do you think, for jiu-jitsu to really, whether you train sport, and that's cool also, but really honor the art and the self-defense aspect of jiu-jitsu? Keep that functionality.
That's a great question. I'd also like to add that, you know, I do respect everybody who does jiu-jitsu.
Yes.
Everybody. And one of the negative sides of competition is that they develop individual teams, and instead of appreciating that the other partner does jiu-jitsu, they kind of alienate the other person because they're not on their team. So that's something that I'm not very happy with. But I tend to do what I call real jiu-jitsu. Things that matter, things that are important, things that are not specific to weight, things that are not specific to material dependence, things that make a difference whether or not the person's trying to punch you in the face, whether or not the person's doing jiu-jitsu back to you. Those are a huge thing to me, to keep that pure and to understand that jiu-jitsu is for fighting or for self-preservation or for survival. Not necessarily to get myself out of a very poor situation and come to America and be famous because I was able to score an advantage or get a judge's decision.
Yeah.
That to me isn't what it's about.
And I think that's super important, isn't it? We talked about this yesterday, that, you know, jiu-jitsu beating jiu-jitsu is one thing, but actually surviving self-preservation and realizing that the person won't actually play jiu-jitsu back.
That's right.
They'll bite, scratch, pinch and punch their way out of anything and do whatever they need to do. So it's super important to honor that side of the jiu-jitsu.
Yes.
The art, getting to know who you are, the movement, everything's so important. But yeah, I really appreciated your take on that yesterday, and you know, and also being aware of weapons. If you're going to go hands-on with someone, you got to be careful. You don't know what they have on them. We talk about this big time back at home, and yeah, it's so important. But you know what? We're going to call it, because we're going to go back and talk off camera now. I appreciate the shakiness of, appreciate whoever's watching this. It's a little bit of a shaky camera, but I really wanted to just take this 9-10 minutes or so to just introduce you to Louie Cercedez. Say thank you to him for taking us about and looking after us while we're here. Team Moreira, Roy Harris, Louie Cercedez, everybody, super cool guys, and you're much appreciated, man. A family of jiu-jitsu. We'll be back. Just quickly, Louie, what's the plans for a camp? Because you had the Lake
Arrowhead camp, right? In the last seminar we had, we didn't have as many people that would make the camp really work in the location that it was. So one of my ideas is to have a camp in the Hollywood Hills at like a large, very big mansion, Airbnb type of a thing, have people come from all over, and we can do some Hollywood stuff and some stuff around Los Angeles, and also enjoy the area and do some quite good training at the place itself.
That sounds exciting. So we're in.
I'll
Mike
get you
and I
guys
are
to a
in.
movie set.
Louie knows some people over here, so this we're going to make that happen in the future.
Yes.
So when it does, mate, I'll put it out Australia wide.
Yeah.
And let's see what we can do with it.
Everybody's welcome, and you're all part of the family. So please don't hesitate.
Thank you so much, Louie. Thank you for your time, Big Mike. Let's go hit this seminar. Thank you, guys. Take care.